Hello, welcome to the SLA series. This is part 3 and it's about what is the SLA content. So we have a small agenda. It's about the content of the SLA, general information to start with, then how to describe service in SLA, what to include in the performance agreement part, and then the reporting on the SLA and the communication. So first of all, the general information. So the general information typically is about what is the subject of the SLA. So what kind of product and services are included. And then which are the parties that agree upon the service provisioning. And it's important to include the names and the functions and of course the signatures. And date it, please. Then the SLA goal. Many people write the SLA goal as we want to agree upon what services are supplied, but actually it's important also to mention the thing that you want to achieve with the SLA. And that means, for instance, that you want to become a business partner, or whether it is important to add value to the business processes. So what is the level of the relationship that you want to achieve with this SLA? And that's much more important than just stating that it is an agreement between parties. Of course, the duration. Keep in mind that if the SLA is an external SLA with a supplier and a customer, then it will be an appendix of a contract, and that normally the duration of the contract that is leading for the SLA. At least the SLA should be reviewed each year. Then there are a lot of terms used in SLA with specific meaning. So the best way to handle that is to make a list of those terms and explain them. Normally it's part of the service catalog that is related to the SLA, but you can also put it in SLA as an appendix. The related documents are very important because many times you have more than only an SLA. You have also a document agreement and procedures, or a document financial agreement. So the documents that are related to SLA should be mentioned, and also the ranking order in which they have prevalence when there are conflicts between the documents. So that's also important to mention. The document should be maintained, the SLA document, so that should be one of the two parties. It can be the customer or the supplier. It's done normally yearly, and changes during the year can be written in an appendix. And there are mutual obligations, so both the customer and the supplier have obligations. So the customer has the obligation to manage the goods and the services that are received properly, and the supplier has obligations like fulfilling the law and legislations. Okay. Then we have the topic services. So for services, we want to have three subjects. First of all, it's important to give a total overview of the SLA domain, and that can be done by making a picture of the total service provisioning, all the application infrastructure together in one picture. The picture should be explained. And then it's also important to mention what kind of environments are involved. Is it only the production environment, or is it also the development environment, test environment, and acceptance or staging environment? Is also something like that you have a continuity environment. So giving a picture of the total overview is very important. In many SLAs you don't get the picture actually, to be honest, and you read a lot of stuff, but in the end you question yourself, what is now the object that we agree upon. So making a picture helps tremendously, and make sure that the only written text is valid for your SLA on the legislation perspective. Yeah, and then the service and products, normally they are not described within the SLA itself. You refer to a service catalog to describe those services and products. But a list of the service and products included in the SLA in the appendix is yeah, quite useful. And you should reference to the service catalog where they are described, including the version number and the date. Yeah, services are explained in a service level, and that means gold, silver, bronze, or something like that. And in the service catalog, yeah, you can find also the norms. So for instance, the resolution time for an incident, if a golden service level, might be 4 hours. In fact, you find that most of the SLAs copy the selected service level of the service catalog within the SLA. It's a little bit overlap, but yeah, on the other hand, it makes it more readable. Next is about the performance agreement of those services. Yeah, and what you might make a differentiation in is the performance agreements of product, processes, and services. Yeah. So, for instance, a product delivery time can be agreed upon. So, when you want to order a notebook, it's delivered within, for instance, 2 weeks. In many SLAs, there are also process agreements, like the resolution time of an incident, and that's for all product and services that are included in the SLA. So that makes it easier to make common agreements for all content of the SLA. For services, yeah, most of the time we have that gold, silver, and bronze service levels, but per service level then there is a specific norm, and yeah, that might be different per service level, of course. Yeah, then it's very important to understand that the performance indicators are typically in 5 different flavors. The capacity is normally about the number of concurrent users, or the capacity of storage, or capacity of transactions. And yeah, you have to keep in mind that you need to know the business forecast to make sure that you have a capacity plan that mentioned the right capacity for now plus a year. Yeah, so that the SLA is not violated during the year because of changes in the business demand. And yeah, the prediction of the business growth is then the basis for the capacity norms in the SLA. The same is valid for the performance, expressed in response times of queries. Also there, the number of users are of course important because they have an influence on the performance. So that yeah, should also be estimated for the current date plus a year. The same is valid for availability. So that's the uptime as a percentage, but it's also the maximum downtime, and yeah, also the number of priority 1 incidents. So these 3 are normally included in the availability. And the continuity. So the continuity is about the data loss and the time it takes to repair the data when the data is damaged. So those 2 figures should be in the SLA for continuity at least. And information security, which is about yeah, confidentiality, integrity, and accessibility or availability. Yeah, and these refer, of course, to the ISO 27001 certification in case that is part of the SLA. So that are the performance agreement aspects, roughly, just to give an indication. Yeah, then about reporting. Of course, reporting is about the agreements that is yeah, made in the SLA. But there are different kinds of reports. So we have lead reporting, and that is the reporting of the current open incidents, changes, problems. So that is the work that is open at the moment. While lag reporting, that is looking to the past. So normally you look for a total month, and you then report on the figures of that month. And then we have the dashboard where you have all kinds of overviews of performance indicators. And that can be viewed directly at the supplier or via the service portal from the desktop from the customer. And then you can log in and then most suppliers offer that service portal, and you have a look at the service desk tool actually that they are using. Yeah, when we talk about the communication, it's about meetings that we have about the SLA, and normally we have three types of meetings. We have an operational meeting that's monthly, and then all the LEC reports are discussed between the operational manager and the business manager. We have also a technical meeting that is quarterly, and that is about adjustments of the services and applications. For instance, there are new versions or new releases. Normally that's only a small change on the SLA, and it's written in the appendix of the SLA. But the real changes of the SLA are done yearly, and then the SLA is reviewed and adjusted and signed off again. So yeah, that's more about the new year to come. And then we have already finished now this part. So what is next? The next part will be what are the related documents. So there are a number of other documents that are used by server level management, like the service catalog, the DAP, the DFA, the OLA, and the UC. So part number 4 will be the next one. And of course, you can join us on YouTube, and can also be a member of the SLA group in LinkedIn, as well as you are invited, of course, for the SLA training masterclass from ITMG, and my Dutch book, SLA Best Practices, that consists of all the experience that I have. It's more than 500 pages, so that's also a good book of reference. So thank you for joining for this part, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.